All right, got it. So I don't know everyone that's watching this, it was with us last week, but we were covering this book. It's going to be a 3-part series, and last week we started on the beginning of the book, just kind of covering sort of how we learn to work on social media, and that like the real part of what we do isn't exactly sexy, and the hustle is hard, but it's so worth it. And tonight we're going to get more into the nitty-gritty of how to get noticed. So that's really the topic for this mini series. So tonight we're going to focus more on the nuts and bolts. So I know that a lot of coaches sort of struggle with what do I post? How do I post? What do I say? Or they get stuck with like, what do I write every single day? And I know I personally do kind of like get like writer's block every now and then, or what am I going to write today? And I think after you hear this call, or if you read this book, you'll maybe have a lot more ideas coming out of your ears, because you will understand some things or different ways to look at it. But you first and foremost need to realize that the biggest part of getting noticed on social media is the content that you put out, and that is going to take up a lot of your time. So you actually do have to set aside time to schedule your posting into your day. And if you are someone who is used to just like posting on a whim, which I will admit I am guilty of from time to time, you're going to want to make some drastic changes in your business. So social media is a business. It's not just a way to tell your story. And if you are smart, you'll kind of use social media as both. So I know we talk about how powerful your story is, and it is. Don't discount that. But also realize that, I know I get caught up in, well, I know my story. I don't really need to plan it. I can tell that from anywhere, any place, anytime. I can just sit down and make a post. While that is true, you're losing efficacy because you're not being as effective as you could be if you had planned your posts a little better. And I'll talk about that more in a minute. But you have to spend time preparing. And I know I talked about that last week. And again, if you're like me and you don't like to waste your time preparing, as I like to look at it, it isn't a waste at all if you listen, and you'll see that. So the first part of tonight's call is going to be talking about how to organize. How to organize your thoughts and your ideas and your content. So if you think about this, the posts that you see on social media that get the most traffic or engagement are the ones that tend to entertain people or inspire them or teach them something. Generally, it's nothing like life-altering, but like a quick tip or something like that, teaching something new. So those are the most effective posts on social media. So stop and think, even maybe today. What do you scroll stop for on social media? What stops your scroll? What gets your attention on social media? What are things that you're going to actually stop scrolling for to read the whole thing, or to engage with, to leave a comment on, to do more than just keep scrolling, more than just click the like button? And if I sit and think about it, it's definitely going to be like a killer transformation. It's definitely going to be a very eye-catching picture that's going to make me want to read the entire caption. It's going to be a tip where I can learn something new. Those are the things that get the most engagement. So, And it's going to be different for everyone. So what gets the most engagement on your page might be different than what gets the most engagement on my page. But typically those are the types of things that will get the most engagement. So here are some ways that you can gather ideas and begin to organize your content that you will eventually want to share on your page. So the author of this book, Lindsay, she says that you should make a secret Pinterest board that nobody can see but you, and then you can name it whatever you want. She said she calls hers content ideas, which is real original, right? But hey, it works. And then she just goes through pinning things that she is going to want to share or like use, or things that are going to, she might rework into a post at some point. And then she also makes a new folder on her phone in her photo app. She makes a new folder for photos, and she also calls it whatever will work for you. So maybe you'll call this folder quotes and content or something like that. But this folder is going to contain screenshots of stuff that you see when you're out and about or when you're working throughout the day that real quick, man, that's good. I want to use that. So you're going to screenshot it and you're going to put all of that stuff into this folder in your phone, in your album that you've called content and quotes or something. So you're going to have two basic places that you can look on your phone at any given time where you have ideas or content that you can now take and turn it into a post. The other thing you want to be doing to get content ideas is take out time every single day or at least several times a week to really observe what is your target market caring about. Like what do they care about? So how do you do this? So you can scan Facebook, you can read different blogs and articles, and then after you're doing that for your target market, like what are they saying right now this week? What are they talking about today on social media? What is your target market frustrated about? What needs do they currently have? What is exciting to them right now? What's trending for them right now? What are you seeing that people are doing well? And how can you incorporate those lessons into your brand? So these are things that you're observing about your target market. And again, I said you can do this every day. It doesn't take very long, and maybe you're not much of a morning person. So if you're not much of a morning person or you're not real good in the mornings, you don't have to be really on it to do this effectively. So maybe this would be a good morning task for you. But if you do come across something that catches your eye, pin it or screenshot it and put it in your folders that I just talked about, save it, and then when you get stuck about what can I write about today, go back and look and get an idea for content. So this is why you're doing this. And then repeat steps 4 and steps 5 that I just went over a couple times each week or a couple times, even do it daily. And why do I say do this so often? Because guess what? Things change, and things change quickly in today's world. So what's relevant today may not be relevant in a month or two. So what your current target market is talking about now, they're not going to be talking about in a month or two. Or what's frustrating them today, they might not be frustrated about in a month or two. Or whatever they need now, they might not need in a month or two. So you need to be constantly and consistently doing that, so that you're really on top of what your target market wants and needs, okay? So after you've created this content bank, where you've been consistent, you're currently constantly creating this content bank, now you need to plan your posting. And you have to create content that's something that your customers actually want to read and engage with. Let's face it. You have to make them want to stop scrolling to read what you've written. And how do you plan out your posts? Well, you can be the Flintstones and use a paper calendar or a planner. And hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Like some people are paper and pencil people, and that's okay. But you can do this digitally. But here's the thing. You definitely want to stick to the same topic for a few days in a row. People need to hear things more than once to retain it. So they need to hear it like chunked over and over for retention. And you need to keep it short and simple and sweet. And also you need to remember that your posts get put into different people's feeds based on algorithms for social media. So because you posted it today, like the Facebook algorithms might not have let so-and-so see it. So you got to post about it again, and then maybe so-and-so will see it next time. So you got to remember that you got to keep posting multiple times for it to get seen by all of your target market. You have a better chance of more people seeing the content that you're actually trying to serve up if you do it more than once. I don't mean post the exact same thing more than once, but I mean rewording it, keeping the same type of theme for several days in a row. For example, if you have a challenge group coming up, I brought up this fall fitness take back on Sunday night. So now all week I'm talking about the fall fitness take back. That's my theme for the week. And I'm going to talk about it more than once. I'm not just going to post about it one time and hope that like everybody I wanted to hear about it saw that post, right? No, I'm going to talk about it multiple times, different times of the day, etc. You also want to consider posting about something consistently, like on a certain day every week, like that your target market can consider looking for. So like, for example, if you're a mom and your target market is moms, and you know that like every Monday moms are likely trying to recover from the weekend. So you can do like a peek into what is real, what it's really like on Mondays, so that other moms know they're not alone or something, you know, and be like, this is what I feel like on Monday after the weekend, you know, something like that, and call it something catchy like Momtrepreneur Monday. I don't know, something like that. But you have to be consistent about it. And here's where I fail a lot, is like I'll start something cute and then I don't stick with it. And how the heck are my followers supposed to be like excited about something whenever they're like, oh, that was cute, but then like they come back next Monday and I don't do it again? Well, you have to stay consistent with it. So make sure that if you're going to do something consistently like that, that you stick to it. So that's where the planning part comes in. If you're going to make a calendar, put every Monday that you do your Momtrepreneur Monday post, or your Tuesday. I know MC sometimes does like Tasteful Tip Tuesday. I don't know what she calls it, but yeah, something like that. So the next phase of our getting noticed on social media is now it's actually time to like write and craft your posts. So you need to, here's some tips for you. You want to create content based on what has inspired you. Remember, your target market is you. So what inspires you is going to inspire them. So think about what's inspiring you, or what have you noticed in your online browsing? What's exciting to you? That's going to be exciting to them. So start duplicating that. Summarize like your research and make sure that you're making any kind of posts applicable to your market. So you can just put out a quote there and tell people that they're like amazing and they can do anything that they put their mind to, but make sure you attach some sort of action to that post. So like if it's something inspirational, tell them they're great, tell them they can do anything, and then say, now go, you know, join me for my next 7-day cleaning group. Like attach an action to it. Don't just build people up. Make sure that they take action afterwards. Make sure that you're detailed. If you are giving action posts, if you leave questions, you're just going to spend so much time answering them. So just put all the details in the post without being too wordy. Just keep it short and sweet, but give all the details in the post. Otherwise, you're going to spend too much time answering the same question over and over and over. While at the same time, don't use 20 words where you could have just used 2. So don't waste people's time. Facebook actually how does this work? Posts with less than 81 words get 66 times more engagement. So keep it simple, like I said. Make sure that you're writing in your posts the way that you talk. And I know I talked about this a little bit last week, but people want to read your posts and be able to hear you saying them. So if your posts come off as like the computer talking or Susie down the street or whatever, they're going to stop reading, or they're going to be like, okay, she does not talk like this. Who did she copy and paste from? Or like, clearly someone's telling her what to say or whatever. You know, she's reading from a script. You want your post to be conversational so that your audience hears your voice when they're reading it in their head. And they'll actually stay to finish reading the post if so. Then they won't feel like the computer's talking to them or their phone. Another tip is to make your regulars your priority. So what do I mean by that? I know Gary Vee said this in a summit seminar training 2 years ago. He is huge, and he said he makes it a point to respond to anyone that comments on his social media. He's huge. Like, he gets so many comments, messages, and he makes sure to comment on every post. So after you write something and somebody takes time out to comment on your post, go back and acknowledge them, respond to them, make them feel like a priority. And if that means clicking the like button after somebody posts something on or comments on your post, that acknowledges that you're making an effort to connect with them, that you have seen their words, that they know, not every comment needs a comment back. Like, some of them don't expect a comment, you know what I mean? I know, but if it should at least get a thank you or something like that. Take the time to do that. It does mean a lot to people, and it will make you stand out. Make sure you're sticking to the 90-10 split. And here's what the 90-10 split is. Spend 90% of your time engaging with your readers, engaging with your followers. Spend 10% of your time promoting your product. So less Shakeology selfies, less blah blah Beachbody, and more just engaging with your readers. So more telling them about your life, more just being you, more time commenting and responding back, building relationships, and only 10% of your time is promoting a product or talking about Beachbody. And finally, with that, is just make yourself pretty. Take the time to add a picture. Not every post needs a photo, but 99% of them do. So they do better with a photo. I'll very rarely have a post that will get any kind of traction if it doesn't have a photo with it. So make sure you're doing that. Now, let's talk scheduling. If you want regular followers, which we all do, right? You have to post regularly. You can't go radio silent for days at a time and come back and then post 3, 4, 5 times a day and expect people to not get whiplash, because they're going to miss so much and they're going to be like, what is going on here? Sally was gone, now she's back, now she's gone, now she's back. They're just going to get so confused. So you need to build a brand so that your brand is fresh on their mind every single day. It's not all in their face, but you build your business so that your brand stays fresh on their mind. Just consistently stay in their news feed. It's not in your face, but when they finally decide that today's the day that they're ready and they need you, they need to change their life, guess what? They think of you and not you haven't been consistent. So they think of Sally Beachbody Coach because she's more consistent than you. Do you know what I mean? So it is important to show up every single day in your business. And again, you can't go off the planet for days at a time here, guys. This is a business where you have to show up every day. I mean, it just is what it is. So scheduling your posts in advance can be really helpful, especially if you have a really rough schedule, or you work a lot, or you work nights, or you have kids that have to be here and there. Like, use one of the post schedulers to where you can pre-schedule your posts. So you can do it to where you just pre-schedule them, like you write them out on a calendar and you know what you're posting when, so it literally takes no thought and you just pop it up quick. Or you do it like through an app, and there's several apps that you can use. So you can use like Hootsuite or Buffer or Sprout Social with some other ones. Viral Heat is one. Social Oomph, TweetDeck, Sprinkler. I don't know that one's better than another. You can kind of look into them and do your research through Google and see what you prefer. But if I were to say that your business is important to you and you can't stay consistent on your own, it's worth the investment to purchase one of these scheduling softwares to where you can pre-plan your posts. Maybe you want to sit down on Sundays and plan out all your posts for the week. Hey, you're gonna be set. You don't have to think about what am I posting when, where am I posting, how, who, what am I saying. You're gonna have it all set. And then the rest of your week, you can focus on your family, focus on whatever you need to focus on, and just do, the commenting back or the liking posts and things like that. So I do believe that these can be really useful for some people. I have used them in the past in challenge groups. Now we have the ability to schedule our challenge group posts right within the group. So I don't think that, I need them as much, but they could be used also. That kind of covers the first portion of my call. The second portion isn't too detailed. I just wanted to go over where are we posting? What social media platforms are available to us? Why are we using them? We have so many different platforms available. I'm not going to tell you one platform is better than another, better than another. Again, it's going to depend on your audience and your target market, but think about, where does your target market spend the majority of their audience online? So you have blogs, you have Facebook, you have Instagram, you have Twitter, you have Snapchat, you have Pinterest, literally you have LinkedIn. You have so many options available to you. I've been told since the day I started this business that you shouldn't try to master too many of these at once. So I would say, again, just stick with 2 platforms max. Make sure you have those down. In terms of Facebook, if you are going to use Facebook for growing your business, you want to post there 1 to 3 times a day. You want to do weekdays and Sundays are prime time for posting. Saturdays tend to be less effective on social media. I'm not saying not to post there, but I wouldn't do a post that you really want people to see on a Saturday. The time doesn't necessarily matter. It's going to depend on your market, but you don't want to make your posts too long, or you don't want to have too many of them, because that will frustrate your readers on Facebook. You want to be posting a good mix of personal information, business posts, and educational type posts if you're using Facebook to grow your business. And if you are not on Instagram, I highly, highly, highly recommend it for growing your business. Like, you can literally reach so many more people on Instagram. You're limiting yourself if you do Facebook. I'm not saying you shouldn't use Facebook, but I think you should be on Instagram too. So Instagram, you should be posting again 1 to 3 times a day. The optimal time to post on Instagram is 7 days a week. Like, there's no like right or wrong day on Instagram, which is great. You definitely want to be using hashtags. The great thing about Instagram is that it forces you to post with the photo. I know some people say that you shouldn't put personal stuff on Instagram, but from what she says in this book, she disagrees. She thinks you should share there just like you share on Facebook. She believes that like 11 to 2 p.m. Eastern Central Time Eastern Time is the best time to post on Instagram. But again, any time is going to be effective. You want to make sure you're engaging with anyone that comments on your posts on Instagram. Send them a DM and just thank them for, commenting, or, just reach out and start building relationships with people. Don't say, hey, want to do Beachbody program. Just don't even talk about Beachbody. But really start engaging with your followers over there. Use hashtags to find people that are into things that you're into, and follow them and like and comment on their stuff. And especially now with us expanding into the UK, this is where you're going to really be effective in finding people in the UK and bringing people onto your team from the UK. I personally have no experience with Twitter at all. I've never been effective at finding anyone on LinkedIn. I think that a lot of people are discouraging the use of Snapchat because they are encouraging the use of Instagram stories. So I love Snapchat. I'm still going to use it. I think that Instagram stories is just like you can reach a lot more people. So maybe if you haven't started using Instagram stories, definitely start. You just share more behind the scenes of the real raw you there, and get more people to see your brand basically on Instagram. So does anyone have any questions for me on this part? Okay, awesome. So we'll have one more. Oh, go ahead. Scheduling on a personal, no, you have to do it from a just a like page. Good question. The good thing that you could do there is that you could copy and paste them, though. If you had them pre-scheduled, once they posted, you could copy them onto your personal page from a like page. Okay, so next week we'll go on to the last part of this call for the Getting Noticed series. If you guys have anything you want me to cover, let me know. But otherwise, I'm going to wrap up this, and I will post the recording in the team page. Thanks for getting on, guys.